This island truly makes it feel like you're on another planet. Each day was filled with such different experiences and landscapes that truly left me in awe. In just a short 6 days, I experienced so many incredible things that I'll definitely never forget. This island truly has everything you could ever ask for. Welcome to Madeira. The story begins in the beautiful town of Mexico, where I'll be spending the next 6 days. On our drive to our first destination, we encountered a waterfall cascading off a cliff onto a narrow coastal road and into the sea below. And in order to get to our next destination, we had to drive under it. We then made it to this foggy forest covered in massive, moss-covered laurel trees. I spent quite a bit of time wandering around this subtropical forest and admiring all of the 600-year-old trees. To make it even more interesting, there were cows grazing all over the forest. Today is our first full day in Madeira, and we're just starting off with a fairly easy hike, which is only 7.4 kilometers. Right now it's about 7 a.m. We wanted to wake up early and try to beat the rest of the crowd and get there for the sunrise. So hopefully it works in our favor and it's not too busy and we get a nice sunrise, but it's looking a bit rainy and cloudy this morning.
So hopefully it clears up by the time we start the hike.
Saw you paint a picture of a face that wasn't even close to mine. I know I shouldn't be in love, but it's so hard to move on. You haven't changed, you stayed the same. But if you did, I'd still love you anyway. I'd give you the world like I promised I would, even though you wouldn't do the same. I'd give you the world like I promised I would.
It ended up being quite cloudy and dark throughout the entire hike.
Even though you wouldn't do the same.
Although it would be preferable to see the cliffs and ocean in full sun, it was absolutely stunning every step of the way.
Had this conversation more than 10 times. After 9, I still wish you were mine. Haven't ate in 7 days, 'cause I've been up till 6 a.m. 5 songs all just for you. 3 of them I can't bear listening to.
Since we went during the winter months, it was overgrown with moss as opposed to being dried during the warmer months.
Give you the world like I promised I would.
Getting started on this hike first thing definitely worked in our favor.
Even though you wouldn't do the same.
The trail started to get much busier on our walk back.
Give you the world like I promised I would. Even though you wouldn't do the same.
Our next stop was a black sand beach with beautiful cliffs as a backdrop. The sun also ended up coming out, which we definitely appreciated.
I'd do anything you want me to. 'Cause I love you.
The next day, I went out on a 10-kilometer out and back hike that takes me to a waterfall. On the majority of the hike, I was walking alongside irrigation channels. And then finally I arrived at a spectacular waterfall. This next experience was definitely the highlight of the entire trip. It was a hike from the third highest peak to the highest peak in all of Madeira. We set out for this hike first thing while it was still dark in order to beat the crowds. I can safely say that this is the most incredible hike that I've ever done. Being the only ones in the mountains was such an amazing feeling. The mountains offer a sense of peace, silence, and tranquility that I've not yet experienced before. The feeling of walking above the clouds and getting to witness the incredible view of the sun rising was an experience that I will never forget. The view from the top was incredible and well worth the effort. We were both exhausted and our legs were so sore, so we just couldn't wait to go home and go to sleep. The next day was definitely a more relaxing day to give our bodies the much needed break to recover. Starting off our day by watching the sunrise and making a high protein breakfast was just what we needed. And coffee, of course. We mainly spent the day exploring and visiting different viewpoints. Definitely no strenuous hikes today. After our rest day yesterday, we're feeling much more refreshed today. So after our slow start to the day, we're gonna head out on another hike. On the drive, we saw a really nice viewpoint and decided to pull over and get a better look. We then arrived at the starting point for our next hike. This hike was a bit more isolated and definitely not very well known compared to the other ones we went on. Apparently during the summer months, the waterfall can be dried up, so we didn't know what to expect. However, after arriving, I can definitely say that we were pleasantly surprised. Along the hike, I did manage to slip off the narrow path and scratch my leg up. I was pretty lucky with the fall, as it could have been much worse because the path is quite high up and it could have been a really far fall down. In the limited amount of time left on the trip, we want to explore as much as we can, so we're really packing our days full. On such an interesting island like Madeira, it's hard to spend a lot of time relaxing. We definitely did take lots of time to stop and slow down and appreciate the scenery around us. In our final time on the island, we also tried some more unique experiences, such as taking the steepest cable car on the island, which took us down to an uninhabited agricultural village. We were then faced with incredible rock faces on one side of us and massive crashing waves on the other side. Another really cool experience was riding in wicker baskets down the streets at 30 kilometers an hour. Watching a group of common dolphins swimming and jumping in the ocean was also pretty cool. As our trip was coming to an end, we sat and watched some planes flying into the Cristiano Ronaldo Airport, which apparently is the 9th most dangerous airport in the world. I've also spent some time reflecting on the trip so far. After spending nearly 6 days in Madeira, I'm absolutely in love with the island. Over the past 6 days, I've hiked 96,546 steps, which is 64.1 kilometers. It's been the perfect mix of adventure and relaxation. Some other things that stand out to me are navigating our way through narrow roads, witnessing some amazing sunrises and sunsets, appreciating the different wildlife, hiking a mountain, and overall just getting to explore all of the beautiful landscapes.